Good afternoon. It is day 42 of our retreat, our Corona confinement retreat. And you can see I have makeup on today. I am clearly feeling better than I did yesterday, I'm happy to say. And I have some great news before I even get started. So, guess what I bought? I bought a camera holder for my camera, for my phone, so we're not going to have any little whoopses in the middle of the little visit we do every day. I am so excited about that. It's probably not coming till like May 6th, but I did put up that. I'll have to show it to you once I get my tripod, but it looks like a little pig, and it's a suction cup, and you stick it on the back, and that's how the phone stands up. But I have to prop it up so that it's pointed at the right height. And anyway, the little pig falls off, and that's when the phone falls forward. So that should not be happening after May, whatever day I get my little tripod. So I'm really excited about that. Well, today we are doing a 6-week checkup. Now, I very cleverly chose that topic because I remember the days when I was a young mother, children, a husband, everything. And when you have a baby, there is a 6-week period that you and your husband cannot resume your normal life. And so everybody waits for the 6-week checkup so you can move on. Well, we've talked about the fact that it takes about 6 weeks to change a habit. So I thought that fit in so well with what we've been doing. And I'd like to start out by telling you what I did since yesterday afternoon when I was feeling so blue. I did just about everything I said I would. I had my little afternoon snack, and I took a little nap. Naps are priceless. And I had a long chat with my special person that I can dump everything on, and she just nods, listens, and nods, and it was all very helpful. The only thing I didn't do is I didn't watch a funny movie. Well, that was because the day just disappeared. But I was in such a good place, it didn't matter. I slept well, and I'm feeling much better today. So has anything changed? No, everything is still as it was. Circumstances are still the same, but I am better prepared to handle it. And that's one of the things that I pray you will think of as we go through the rest of our retreat time. You need to take care of yourself. Get enough sleep. I have a very precocious and naughty inner child. Doesn't want to be told when to go to bed, doesn't want to be told what to eat, doesn't want to be taken any of that stuff. So that is one of my big jobs, is disciplining that inner child. And we still haven't gotten to bed at a decent hour, but, I do recall especially I was being gentle with myself yesterday. So I'm wondering, and because we're not face-to-face at this point in time, but I'm wondering, how are you doing? How are you coping? I'm hoping our daily visits help you a little bit. I know a few people have said they do, and I am very grateful. It makes any effort I go to do these, it makes it worth it. And I'm hoping that in the 6 weeks that we've experienced, and if you haven't been watching for the 6 weeks, you can go to YouTube. I'm actually going to, every afternoon, I post a link to my YouTube channel, which will take you to link to all the messages. And there's a little shield in the corner, in the lower right-hand corner, that says subscribe. So if you subscribe, then you'll be sure to be notified every time a video comes up. And you'll also know where to go to find them at any time. So, okay, so we are ready to be moving on. I pray you're coping. If you are having problems coping, I have, certainly suggested you find a friend to talk to, you contact your clergy person, best friend, whatever. Not just anyone, though. We've talked about that before. I'll talk about it a little bit more in a little bit. If you have any questions or anything someone posted yesterday, I have so many questions. Well, question on. Send them in a private message, send them in an email, post them in the comments here, and I will be happy to answer anything I have the answer to. And make up what I don't. No, I'm not kidding. I wouldn't do that. What I would do is I would find the answer if that's possible for me to do. So we have just finished a cycle, a 6-week cycle. And in those days, change had the opportunity to occur should we have taken the change. We are now in the present moment, right now, just you and me, and we are talking about what transpired, so we will be ready to move into the next 6-week cycle of our lives, whatever that may be. And in order to be, they say, forgive and forget, don't dwell on the past, things like that. Well, the past is an excellent way to look at what we don't want to do again, as well as what we want to do that again, because that worked. So we look at the past for what we can draw out of it without getting hung up on it. And then we move on with the changes we've made and maybe new changes to make. I thought this morning about the Serenity Prayer, which most people know, and if you don't, I'll give you my little take on it. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know which is which. Now, those are easy to say. They're not so easy to live. I think a lot of the problems that I've had in my life came from me not accepting the things that I couldn't change. Especially being in unity, all things are possible, God's in charge. Well, sometimes things aren't meant to go a certain way for your highest good. And sometimes we can manipulate and manage, but it's not always for our highest good, as we discover too late in the game. I always talk about the second marriage I had, which was really, really a mistake, and I wouldn't mind, but Spirit was throwing out one red flag after another red flag and another red flag, and I just kept batting those red flags away. Nope, 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 nope. And boy, if you ever had something happen in your life you wished you'd never done, God was trying to tell me, I just wouldn't listen. So I invite you to make sure you're aware of what's going on and the signals God may be trying to send to you. I'm going to go over a few of the things we've talked about that I thought were that stood out most in the past 6 weeks. And if you have a paper and pencil nearby, you can jot down what you did, what you didn't do, what you want to do, and what you have a question about. So let's just check in now. And because we're going to, if you didn't get done what you wanted, we're starting fresh today. I even wiped down my little whiteboard that had my to-dos on it, rearranged it a little bit, and it's back up there, and I'm already checking stuff off. Okay. One of the first things we talked about was journaling. I said back then, we are writing history. We are writing a new history. If you didn't start journaling, I urge you to, because it is such, you will look back at this. You will tell your grandchildren and about this. You will, it is your story. History his story. It's your story. So I really encourage you to write that down, and you will have it. If you haven't started yet, start today. Okay. Did you start a gratitude list? Oh, that was one of the best things I ever learned. It's in a book called The Magic. And yes, the gratitude journal and stuff, that's been around for a long time. But the difference in what was in that book and what was in the gratitude journals was you write down every day 5 things you are grateful for, and the tricky part is why. I am grateful for, okay, let me tell you what I wrote. I don't know, it was today or yesterday, but I wrote it. I am grateful for everyone who watches the videos I make because it makes me feel better. I have an opportunity to make them feel better, and it's helping us all get through this and spread the teaching of metaphysics and unity, which can really it changed my life, and I'm hoping, if you never heard of it before, it'll start changing yours. And if you're one of us longtime unity folks, that you'll go, oh yeah, that's right. I always have one of the unity books in my prayer time, and I go back and I have to remind myself and really get it in there. Repetition, there's nothing wrong with repetition. It helps us to learn. Okay, so do your gratitude list. If you haven't started yet, start now. We talked about the difference between a problem and a project. I even talked about that yesterday. A project has a time space where you finish it. A problem just seems to go on forever. So what problems are you turning into projects? You know, this is our opportunity. We can look at our lives and see what's not working in my life and what can I do, instead of going, oh, there's nothing I can do. Stop it. There is something you can do. So say, how can I change what I'm doing? Let's say with somebody I know that doesn't go to bed on time, with that little naughty inner child, doesn't want to go to bed. I'm not tired. Well, you will feel much better if you get up earlier. So I have a goal, and that goal is to be lights out at 11 o'clock. I'm making it more than I used to. Not perfect yet, but I'm getting there. So turn your problems into projects, because problems are ongoing. Projects, limited time, and 6 weeks. Remember, you can change anything in 6 weeks. Okay. Another thing that we were talking about in the past 6 weeks is how to get by with a little help from your friends. We need someone to talk to. When I was having such a low day yesterday, and it was so hard to deal with sad memories, and not only the sad memories, it was an aggregation of the sad memories, the news, the things that boggle my mind because of things like fake news and people who don't get it or don't want to get it. Those things. Tishy's coming to join us. She likes to do that. So what I did, a part of my healing, and that I suggest would help you, is to have a friend that you can talk about. Now, this is very important about picking that friend. It's got to be someone that's not going to try to fix it. Basically, what I needed yesterday was for someone to listen, for someone to say, man, I know how you feel, or I don't know how you feel, but it has to be awful, And if somebody comes to you and they say, I need to talk, I'm coming from a bad space, don't try to fix them. I know that's hard, especially if we think we have the answer. But they're not ready to hear, I can fix you. We can be strong for them. We can pray for them. And if they ask us, we can help fix them. Now, when they're not coming from a crummy place and they come with a complaint or something, go for it. Tell them how to fix it. But don't make like you know better than they do, because you're the only one walking in your shoes and you can't walk in their shoes. So, But if you've got good advice, say, I don't know if this will work or not, but why don't you try that? So don't try to fix people, and talk to someone who's not trying to fix you. Also, one of the values of talking it out is, Carl Jung said that he had fewer patients, fewer Catholic patients than anybody else, because they went to confession and dumped it all on the priest. It is good for your soul. It is good to get out what's troubling you so you can look at it. And you don't have to go to a priest. You can go to a priest. You can go to a counselor. You can go to whoever it works. But the thing is, get it out. Don't keep shoving it down. Don't keep toughing it out. There's times to tough it out, and there's times when you have to just talk about it. Okay. Now, another thing we talked about was doing chores that you've been putting off. Tasteless chores. Distasteful chores, like cleaning that junk drawer. Cleaning out your closet. Oh, gosh, I haven't attacked that yet, but maybe that'll go on the whiteboard today. What about getting up and getting dressed? I tell you, that is so important. I started so many of my little visits with you going, what are you wearing? And I'll ask you today, what are you wearing? If you're in California, it's still morning. But if you're coming east, you should be dressed in clothes, unless you're having a jammy day. Now, a jammy day is perfectly allowable. Yesterday could have been a jammy day, but I thought I was solo. I needed to put clothes on to boost myself up a little bit. Okay, and then we started talking about the 12 powers. Each one of us has within us 12 spiritual faculties that we can employ, that we can engage, that we can use in our lives to help us grow and express and create. And the 12 powers we looked at so far were faith, imagination, strength, order, zeal, renunciation or letting go, wisdom, and understanding. If you didn't get to see those, I invite you to go back and see them now before we move on to the rest of the 12. When we spoke about the 12 powers, the 12 spiritual faculties, we talked about where their spiritual center is in your physical body. For example, faith is like in the middle of the head, the center, grounded. The imagination is behind the eyes. It's the way we image things. It's the imaging power of the mind. We talked about zeal being located at the back of the stem, the brain stem, and how we could feel it. And I used the example of when a dog gets really wound, you can feel you can see the hair stand up on his back of his neck, and how I actually did have that experience one day when I got so mad. I could feel that hair standing up on the back of my neck. So you listen to your body. We talked about wisdom and order being behind the navel, and that's that feeling of grounding and yes. And then we talked about renunciation, which is being in the bowel, which is the part that cleans out. Oh, how important it is to clean out. Whether it's your body, your mind, your house, your junk drawer, it is important to release. My grandmother used to say something very funny. She used a little coarser word, so I'm not going to use that word. But when she was trying to get my mother to eat, she'd say, if you don't eat, you don't poop. And if you don't poop, you die. She really did say that. I thought that was hilarious. But think about it. If we don't release, whether it's mentally, physically, emotionally, if we don't release, we die. It's just the way it goes. So you want to listen to your body. What is going on? Do you feel something in your right behind your navel, meaning something's out of order? Do you feel something? Do you feel that zeal at the back of your neck going, going something's bad or going something's great. This is so good, I can hardly stand it. You know, that's another, whew, that's that zeal and enthusiasm. Think about when you get fired up, like when you're going to go do something like get ready for vacation, and you just feel that, whoa, you know, that energy, and so that's zeal. And strength in the lower back. So many people, I try to say, if you're suffering in the lower back, it means that you don't feel strong, you don't feel supported. Your spine supports you, so you don't feel supported. So think about that, because the spiritual centers, they're called ganglionic centers, and they're called ganglionic because Charles Fillmore saw it like your nervous system, that they add all these little things, feelers going out, that when you feel it, it's a message to the rest of the body. Is it fight or flight? Is it I've got to be wary of this? Whatever it is. So they're ganglionic centers. You want to stay alert to where does it hurt. If your back starts hurting and you didn't literally wrench it, start looking at how do I not feel supported? Because you can't fix and you can't find the support if you don't acknowledge that you need to attend to it. Spirit is in every cell of our body and every organ. And you know, all of our cells, all of our organs of our body are meant to work together for the good of the whole. This is something that it's important for us to try to eliminate division. You don't have to like someone to accept them as a person. Just, you're different. You just, so, you know, you don't have to like someone to love them with spiritual love. My cat cried, and I'm like, where was I going with that? In any way, now I totally lost it, but just, you feel it in your body, so pay attention. Your body's giving you messages that you want to address so that you can move forward on your next steps of growth. Then we have a big one. Why are you here? I mean, not why are you here right now, because I'm loving it. I'm glad you're here. Why are you here on the planet? Do you have any idea? Because you're here for a reason. No matter what you may think, you are here for a reason. You have gifts and talents to share. That's where I was going, about everyone being a part of it and looking for the good. Even in someone you don't like, look for the good. You may find something. It doesn't mean you're even going to like them. There was a web page. I was going to look it up before I got to the message, but other things came up. But it's called lookforthegood.org. And it tells good stories. Now, I heard a wonderful story yesterday that Governor Cuomo from New York was talking about. He was talking about how they, you know, the dairy farmers are dumping milk because there's no way to sell it. Nobody's taking it. Nobody, you know, stores are closed. So he made an offer to the producers of the milk. We'll buy your milk, and we will give it to the poor. Now, that's a solution. A farmer, and you try to wrap this number around your brain. A farmer out probably in Idaho, that's where the potatoes come from. I know they grow them everywhere, but Idaho is the big place. He gave away 800,000 pounds of potatoes. Truckloads. People would come and get truckloads they would take truckloads and take them, and they showed a place where a woman had a big truckload of potatoes dumped in her yard and put out a free potato sign, and people came and got potatoes. See, that's how our body works. Our body all works together wherever you need it. You know, if you get a cut on your arm, your nervous system says, help, something's going on. And everything, the white cells are coming, everything comes to bring aid. That's what we have to be like. I'm hurting here. I'm hurting there. Everybody come in. Everybody can help somebody. If you can help them with $1, If you can help them with your hands, handwork, pick something up. My niece, bless her heart, I have not been out of the house actually here for days because it's to get the mail. It's been really nasty weather, but today's going to be 60. So I am, by the grace of God, I live at a campground, and I'm going to be able to go and walk around the grounds and soak up some vitamin D, and it's going to be so good. But everybody can do something for somebody. Look out for your neighbors. Look out for strangers. The campground here in Muda, so if you're in town and you must go out for something, drive by the campground. You're going to see on our sign is a wonderful red heart that they hung up there to say thank you to all the people, the essential workers that are out there, and to say I love you to all the neighbors that we can't say I love you to personally. So you have a purpose here. I believe that I was born to inspire and teach others, not from ego, but from the pure joy of making another life better, of sharing the teaching that works for me. Even when I was a district sales manager for Avon, I had 250 representatives, and my big joy wasn't my paycheck or the car I got or any of the perks that went with that job. My joy was exciting those Avon ladies to get out there and do their thing and give them awards when they did it. I'm a carrot person, you know, dangle a carrot and I'm off. I want that carrot. So, that was your checkup. Where are you today? Have you been watching and listening and just thinking, well, that was entertaining? Or have you said, I'm going to try that. I'm committed to that. That's what I hope you've been doing. Even one little thing, if even just putting on your clothes in the morning instead of living your jammies, that's a good thing. You have a mission here. And if you're at a job that you hate and you're out of work right now because you can't do that job, I strongly encourage you, learn to do something else. Ask your heart and soul, what is my mission? What am I here to do? Because that's what will really make you happy. Whether you've started or whether you haven't, tomorrow is another day. We do that song in Jazzercise. Tomorrow is another day. And as I close today, I would like to do that with a reading that I did probably the second day that we were doing this. I hope I remember it. It's called A New Day. And it says, this is the beginning of a new day. The Lord has given me this day to do with as I choose. I can waste it or I can use it for good. But whatever I do today is important because I am exchanging a day of my life for it. When tomorrow comes, this day will be gone forever, leaving in its place something I have exchanged for it. I want it to be good, not evil. Success, not failure. Joy, not sorrow. In order that I will not regret the price I paid. May you never regret the price you paid for this day and every one that follows. I'm so glad you were with me today. If you tuned in late, don't worry, give it a minute. You can watch it from the beginning. You can go to, I will post my YouTube one later, and that will give you the opportunity to click subscribe so you'll always be notified when I've got a new video up. And share with friends. In the meantime, God bless you, and know that wherever you are and whatever you're doing, the light of God surrounds you, the love of God enfolds you, the power of God protects you, and the presence of God watches over you. Wherever you are, God is, and all is well. And I love you. God bless.